Jeffrey wants to make money. How are you gonna do it, Jeffrey? Are you gonna contribute to humanity? Are you gonna educate people or inspire them or help the animals? Wait, what's he doing? He's recording rage bait content. Jeffrey, don't you know that you can make money doing anything in life? Why would you try to make money like this, Jeffrey? Ew! His entire social media page is just hate. You've gotta start to meditate, Jeffrey. Adonis lives the best life ever. He wakes up in his peaceful home next to his beautiful wife and his healthy children. He wakes up and walks outside whilst his family are still asleep to meet his tribe members, the young men. They're all ready for today's lesson. He's gonna teach them how to hunt. He feels so fulfilled. He's making a living. He's actually rich, but he's helping people. He lives such a beautiful life in which his finances are tied to his contribution. He spends the rest of his day meditating, reading books, spending time with his family, and dining with his brothers. What an amazing life. So this guy made a video about me. He's not like a fan of mine, he just seems to make videos like this about everyone. Like his entire channel is just videos, which are like hate videos, but let's go ahead and watch it and see if he makes some good points.
Hamza built his brand by showcasing the intimate aspects of his self-improvement journey and offering young men guidance on how they could better themselves too. With valuable videos on topics like fitness, relationships, and making money, Hamza rapidly carved out a dedicated fan base that looked forward to every upload. While this might seem straightforward, the complexity lies in Hamza's ability to be honest and transparent with his viewers, no matter the topic.
Is your future self thinking, I wish you just stopped watching all of these self-improvement videos and actually took action to better your life?
I should mention actually this guy, he came onto my Discord server once and he said he wanted to speak to me. And I don't speak to like random fucking people, whatever. And when someone showed me his channel, I was like, obviously he's gonna make like a hate video. And he said, no, it's not gonna be like a hit piece promise, but like, let's go on a call together. Which obviously he was trying to trick me to get onto a call so he's got more footage. So I ignored it and then he made the hate video anyway. So I don't think he's got very good honesty or character really. But let's see what point, he's not really made any like solid points just yet.
The cult's mission would be based on members trying to emulate the fictional figure Hamza created, called Adonis.
This cult of young men that you see before you is all about taking responsibility. We strive to become more like Adonis. He's successful, but he's humble. He's strong, but he acknowledges his weaknesses. There are 5 virtues of Adonis: discipline, humility, presence, gratitude, and leadership. What a great message. Like, just for me to like suck my own cock here for a second, but what a great message for me to be spreading to so many young men. For the first time in so many young men's lives, they had like someone who's a bit of their role model tell them to be more disciplined, tell them to get into leadership, tell them to keep learning and have like more of a student mindset. We weren't taught these things, or at least we weren't listening when someone else taught us these. I've had thousands, tens of thousands, maybe even millions of guys who have said to me that this work has changed their life. And in fact, actually, if you're watching this and you're like a fan of mine, you can even comment below, like tell your story of when you first discovered my videos, and let's see if it helped you. Tell your story of you discovered my videos, you got onto self-improvement, what happened, how long have you known me for? Let's see like what kind of impact I've had. This is the reason why I've never taken these sort of like hit piece hate videos so seriously, because sometimes they make good points, but overall my contribution to the young generation of men has been so positive that it just outweighs any random criticism these guys can make, which usually is criticism that I already say about myself, that I know about myself already, and it's flaws that I'm working on. I've never once said that I'm perfect. I'm not. I'm literally a guy on self-improvement. But let's just let's keep watching.
Mind, as they'll become very important later. For now, Hamza would contrast the shining image of Adonis with a lesser figure dubbed Jeffrey, the embodiment of everything Hamza believed a man shouldn't be.
Jeffrey's the average guy. He's overweight, lazy, and undisciplined. He got average grades in school. He works an average job that he doesn't like. He doesn't attract the kind of women that he wants. He lives a mediocre life. Jeffrey hears about self-improvement, about exercising and building a body that he could be proud of. He hears about meditation, gratitude journaling, reading, and learning, and Jeffrey refuses to do any of it. He spends his days playing video games, jacking off to messed up and eating junk food. What a disgrace.
This dynamic would become the premise behind many of Hamza's subsequent videos, as he compared how Jeffrey and Adonis responded to different social situations. To keep the messages as personal as possible, Hamza would include stories about his past mistakes and achievements, which showed he was still improving like everyone else. While the Jeffrey vs Adonis dynamic was a good way for Hamza to highlight traits viewers should aspire to, it would also prove to be overly simplistic and lacked nuanced explanation of what it takes to truly become a successful individual. individual.
You get what I mean? Like when you think about what he's just said, he sounds like an intellectual trying to make good points. He's basically just said Hamza used the Jeffrey and Adonis thing, but it was kind of simple and it doesn't fully explain like the transformation that you need. Well, yeah, because the rest of the half an hour long videos that I made would explain the details. When people make videos like this, I swear to God, it's like they yap a lot, they say a lot of words, and they make, with the editing and the music, they make it sound like it's a good point. When you listen to the specific words they say, he literally just said, listen to it again.
While the Jeffrey versus Adonis dynamic was a good way for Hamza to highlight traits viewers should aspire to, it would also prove to be overly simplistic and lacked nuanced explanation of what it takes to truly become a successful individual.
The Jeffrey Adonis, like the intro of my videos was quite simplistic and it lacked the nuanced explanation of how to go from Jeffrey to Adonis. That's the point he's made, and that's like a "ha, got you" moment. Yeah, but that's what the rest of the video's for. Like, this is why I never watch these videos, because they act like they've made like such a sophisticated point. He's basically just said like, oh yeah, in your 30-second comical humorous intro, you didn't fully explain how to become an Adonis. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, that's what the rest of the video's for.
However, this wouldn't stop Hamza's movement from rapidly spreading across the internet. From late 2022 to early 2023, Hamza would triple the sub count on his main channel, growing from 500k to over 1.5 million. Hamza's open and honest approach to self-improvement content allowed him to build a massive community.
One thing these channels, the ones that make like a lot of like hit pieces, whatever, one thing they actually do really well, I'll be honest to you, is they do quite a lot of research and they often do get like the sort of date and the time right. Like he just said, I have 500k subscribers in 2022 and then 1.5 million like a year and a half later. That's extremely accurate. Usually these type of channels, they're really good at that, like, like seeing the graph of when you were doing well, whatever. So yeah, they've done a bit of research here. I'll give him that. He can look at a graph successfully.
Sadly, no one could have anticipated how much Hamza would change after becoming somewhat of a successful figure, as he began to reveal a dark side of himself no one had seen before. On the 16th of September 2022, Hamza published a stream highlight to his second channel titled Hamza Explodes on Anime Profile Pictures, and as the title suggests, the video was meant to ridicule individuals he felt were negatively impacting his audience.
Stop trying to negatively affect me. Stop trying to negatively affect my boys here. If you play video games, if you watch anime, keep your mouth shut. They come in here and anime's fine, a video, just 1 hour video. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. Oh, you play it, okay, fine, you play it, fine. Don't come in here and try and change my mind. Don't come in here and try and tell my boys to stop playing video games.
Hamza's rant would become even more heated as he commented on videos that were critical of his stance on self-improvement.
Still agree with that to this day, and I think any one of us would agree. Imagine, okay, we're on self-improvement. I'm telling you to go to the gym. I'm telling you to be disciplined. People would come to our channel, and this is when I used to live stream a little bit, and they would try and like tell us like, no, don't go to the gym. Like watching anime and playing video games is fine. And I'm blowing up on them saying like, no, listen. If you want to be like a fucking Jeffrey, go ahead and be a Jeffrey, but stop trying to convince me and my boys, right? I'm like defending my followers here. We don't want to do that stuff anymore. We don't want to play video games and sit around watching anime and jacking off. If someone comes up to you and tries to convince you that that's a good thing, knowing how addictive like personalities we have, that they're fucking evil people. So of course I'm going to defend my boys when I say this.
Although consuming most forms of entertainment in moderation wouldn't derail someone's self-improvement journey,
this guy just said, although consuming most forms of entertainment wouldn't derail someone's self-improvement journey. He said that like a fact. That's his claim. Let me ask you right now, if you are a follower of mine, if you've been on self-improvement for a while, do you think that's true? Think about what you were addicted to. If we went onto video games again, would you be absolutely just fine? I'm a pretty disciplined guy, right? Like I've done a kickboxing fight, I knocked a guy out, I'm a bodybuilder, businessman. Okay, I've done quite a lot in my life, and I'm telling you right now, if I go make a RuneScape account right now, you won't see me for a few weeks. Some of us just have that like susceptibility to the addictions from video games. Maybe there's a specific video game if you started to play again, you'd get addicted and like you'd fall off self-improvement for a few weeks. You know that, right? He's just made a blanket statement saying like, no, moderation's fine. This guy, like the guys who make these hate videos, they don't know the sort of culture of young men. They don't even get it. They're the ones who will say like, oh, everything's fine in moderation. A bit of porn, a bit of junk food, a bit of the drug that you're addicted to is fine in moderation, bro. If I go smoke weed once, I'll be fucked because I'll smoke every single day for fucking weeks. If I go and play video games once, I'll go and play every day for weeks. And I'm not even special special with this. I know there's a lot of guys nodding their head thinking, yep, exactly, me too. There's a certain video game that if you started to play, you would literally get addicted to it. You know it, right? A lot of us know this because, bro, this is like the stuff that handicapped us for years, for like a decade when we were children, when we were teenagers, and we had so much potential to find like our purpose, our life's task, to find work that contributes to others. We got trapped in this bullshit instant gratification bad habits that just sap the energy of young men. And you know this is true, and everyone knows this is true. So much of our potential is just pulled away from us because of these modern addictions. And you have this fucking random guy who's making videos who doesn't even understand the space. And listen to how certain he is. Listen to how much conviction he has when he says this.
Although consuming most forms of entertainment in moderation wouldn't derail someone's self-improvement journey, Hamza was determined to make his viewers think.
Consuming entertainment wouldn't derail someone's self-improvement journey. He said it like it's a fact. Do you think this guy knows anything about self-improvement if he's saying, oh yeah, like some forms of video games is fine and it's not going to derail your self-improvement? That's the words of a guy who doesn't understand young men at all. I understand young men, and I'm telling you right now, I know that there's a video game that if you started to play, you'd get addicted. And I know for a fact so many young guys are like sheepishly smiling right now thinking, yep, Hamza's 100% right. If I started playing Minecraft or RuneScape, World of Warcraft, Fortnite, whatever game that you were most addicted to, you know for a fact, even though you're way more disciplined now, even though you've been going to the gym, even though you're older now, you know for a fact you'd get addicted and you'd lose like weeks of your life. And not just the video game, by the way, you'd end up doing other bad habits. You'd end up staying up late. You know for a fact you'd have some like snacks or something. You'd miss a few days from the gym and you'd just grind in the game, right?
Although consuming most forms of entertainment in moderation wouldn't derail someone's self-improvement journey, Hamza was determined to make his viewers think that any attempt at relaxation would put them behind in life.
Hamza was determined to make his viewers think that any attempt at relaxation would put them behind in life. If you've watched me for a while, do you think that's true? Do you think I'm determined to make you think that any form of relaxation would put you behind in life? Relaxation. Have I told you that sleep is bad for you? No. I've told you to discipline yourself so you sleep well. I've told you to rest. I've told you to meditate. I've told you to stay calm and do breath work and stretch and have real relaxation in your life. What have I told you not to do? The bad habits. This is the type of guy who thinks that video games are relaxing. You know how people say like, oh, 1 hour of video games to relax at the end of the day. And bro, we all know the truth. Video games don't relax you. If we scanned your brain, we would not see your brain nice and relaxed when you're playing video games. What would we see? Your brain would be hyper stimulated. So this guy's, again, he's making just a blanket claim. He's acting as if he's completely right, saying Hamza was determined to make his viewers think any attempt at relaxation would put them behind in life. No, wrong. I've told you that relaxation, rest, is absolutely critical for your journey. I've told you to prioritize sleep, but I've told you to get away from the bad habits that are not even relaxing in the first place. That's the difference. Right? And anyone who's sane would agree with me and think like, well, yeah, actually that makes sense. Like prioritize sleep and napping, rest, recovery, fair enough. But that doesn't include video games. Relaxing with your friends, for example, just sitting around, going for coffee, like eating food with them, relaxing with your family, that's nice. And I've always told you to do that. But I've always told you, watch out for those bad habits that are overstimulating. Video games aren't relaxing. They're not just stimulating, they're overstimulating. Look at how certain this guy is when he speaks. And he's like, Hamza's determined to make his viewers think any attempt at relaxation will put them behind in life. False. Absolutely not true.
You already understand life works like a race of men. Any of these pussies who tell you that they're not competing against the rest of us is fucking lying.
That analogy is probably one of the best analogies I've given. As men, we are all running in a race that's like competition. And at the end of this race, at the finish line, is the rewards of life that we want. It's a higher quality woman that we can have children with, we can have a family with. It's the beautiful house that you want. It's the status, the fulfillment, all the things that like at least in the material world we're chasing after. And you have to admit, look, this is so true. We are in competition with one another. Life is a competition. Now, we're in the same tribe, so it's a little bit different because I'm like giving you secrets and advantage and stuff. But in general, when you see like a random guy who's at your gym, for example, it's you versus him. You know that, right? Until he becomes a friend of yours, he's going to try and fuck the girl that you want. You know this. You absolutely know this. And all of us understand this. It's true. And so if you slow slow down, not in the sense that if you're sleeping well. In fact, if you're sleeping well, if you're really resting, that will help you to speed up. But if you're slowing down to just overstimulate yourself with porn, video games, just things that are an absolute sink of time, like scrolling, for example, watching porn, then you are literally going to run in this race slower and someone else is going to run faster than you. So self-improvement, especially as a man, it lets you run faster in this race because you get rid of all these handicaps, like these handbrakes to your success. The things that are slowing you down, porn and video games and junk food and scrolling, they're slowing you down. I have never once told you not to rest and recover because that's actually like a productive thing that actually, in a weird way, lets you run faster. Think about it. Bro, I'm a bodybuilder. Have you seen how fucking big I am? You think you get this big without like sleeping well? I'm a fucking bodybuilder. I've tracked my sleep every night for like fucking 5 years, right? I'm a bodybuilder. I know the value of rest and relaxation. What he has done very cleverly in this video, you see how manipulative these videos are. He's taken me arguing about video games and then he's basically sort of manipulated the conversation to say that Hamza's saying not to rest and relax. I've always told you to rest and relax, but video games are not resting. They're overstimulating. Again, look, this is like the type of guy who has absolutely no empathy towards the modern young man. Like, think about the argument he's trying to make. I'm telling you not to play video games and he's disagreeing with that. And he's saying, yeah, you guys play video games. It's absolutely fine. On this race of men, we're all running, right? And the faster you run, when you get to the finish line, you get to basically have a higher quality woman to have children with, to have a family with. That's something to work hard for, right? And that's not weird. Men have always worked hard to become more attractive and to become better men, better fathers, so that we can attract a better woman, we can have a better family. That's a completely normal, healthy thing. From the caveman days to the industrial revolution to now, men work hard to attract a better woman and to have like a healthier, more stable family. Now listen to this. Some men in this race will try to convince you to slow down. Some men are running in this race and they're looking behind themselves at you and saying, hey bro, just slow down, just play some video games, just rest bro, whilst he's sprinting more and more, running to the woman that you both could be fighting for. And he's telling you like, oh yeah bro, 1 hour of video games is fine. And he's lapping you when he says that. Do you think that's like a form of like evil manipulation? Because I think it is. Bro, this guy, he makes a lot of money from his YouTube channel. He just churns out videos like this where he just hates on people. He's running this race, becoming more of like an attractive man. And he's telling you to slow down. Would you want to listen to him? Now imagine this, like we're competing against everyone else. Everyone's running this race. We want to get to the finish line. The faster you run, the higher status you are, the more rewards you get out of life, the more status you get, the more attraction you get from women, right? Everyone's running in this race, competing with each other. Some guys are looking behind and shouting at you and telling you, hey, slow down. Which when you think about it, bro, that's so manipulative because they're not slowing down. They're telling you, oh yeah, play some video games whilst they keep running. They're trying to run faster to go fuck the girl that you want. But here's the interesting thing. There's some men in this race who are looking behind themselves and they're saying to you, hey, watch out for that rock. Bro, you can run faster if you do this. Just think about this for a second. I'm already running so fast in this race. I have been for 5 years. If you saw my achievements, you'd be so proud of me thinking, holy shit, like Hamza was like a Jeffrey like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. What I have achieved in just a few years is insane. I have ran so fast in this race of men. And I am looking behind myself at all my boys who listen to me and I'm telling them, hey, I just tripped up over that rock. Watch out for it. Oh, watch out for that. Watch out. That friend behind you, he's actually pulling you back. Watch out for that. Watch out for these guys who are evil, manipulative, telling you to slow down. Again, I almost have to like fucking my own fucking dick here. But what a fucking act of love that I'm doing here. I'm looking and telling you about the things that made me stumble. I'm opening up, being vulnerable, being honest, and telling you about the times that I tripped up so you don't trip up as well. It's like we're going through a jungle. I'm at the front tearing down like all the vines and the branches, and I'm tripping over the rock and getting bit by the fucking snake and everything else. And then once I've been bit and scratched and fallen over and scraped my knee and cracked a fucking hip, I'm looking behind me and telling you, watch out for that rock. Oh, I've got that snake. Go on, you go past now. There's some guys who are saying to you, hey bro, slow down, play some video games, it's fine. And there's other guys who are telling you, okay, step by step, this is how you get rid of your video game addiction. Watch out for that trap that gets most young guys. Watch out for this one. This is how you lower your screen time. You can meditate, you can do this. Who do you want to listen to? There's two guys in front of you in this race. Both are fairly successful. Who do you want to listen to? The guy who's teaching you how to speed up, or the guy who's trying to tell you that it's okay to slow down. Now, don't get me wrong, a slow life is okay. Like, I actually live quite a slow life. Like, I wake up without an alarm clock, I meditate, I read in the sunlight, I only work like 1 or 2 hours a day, I spend a bunch of time with my friends and stuff. I live a bit of a slow life, but I'm still getting really good results. What I'm saying to you is, some guys are literally trying to tell you to do more bad habits, to like get back into the bad habit that you were addicted to, that you lost years of your life to. Just for 1 second, just do one calculation quickly. How many hours do you think you've spent on video games? For me, I'm pretty sure it might be close to 10,000. I'm pretty sure I had a RuneScape account that I had like 4,000 or 5,000 hours on. Like, I played on the same kind of game and the same account, like the character, for like 15 years or something crazy. That's an addiction. And some guys are trying to tell you like it's okay to be addicted. It's okay to go back to that thing. And I'm the one telling you, no, bro, come on. You get rid of that and you will run faster in this race. I want you to run faster. Like, I don't have to, but I'm teaching you the secrets of what made me run faster than almost everyone else. Just be careful who you listen to. Some people are trying to help you run faster in the race of men, and some people are trying to convince you to run slower.
Live streams wouldn't be the only place Hamza expressed some unconventional views of what it meant to be masculine, as he'd make similar comments during his short form uploads.
This is gonna sound weird. You need to be hit in the face. As a young man, you need to be hit in the face consistently. Trust me when I say that greatly improves your character. When you are under some kind of threat of violence, you become present, you become focused. All of those bullshit thoughts in your mind, those insecure thoughts, disappear. Suddenly it's just you in the real world versus this other man, and your objective is to...
So he's just used the clip of me talking about the value of martial arts, and when I said, okay, if you spar, when you get hit in sparring, it will shock you and make you really feel alive. And he's trying to use that clip to say like, oh yeah, Hamza's gotten really crazy. He's suggesting that people do martial arts. You know what's interesting? I know for a fact further on in this video, this guy's gonna talk about when I said that I would do a fight and then I didn't end up doing the fight for a while, and then eventually I did it and I knocked the guy out. So it's interesting. On this clip, he's trying to like argue like, oh yeah, Hamza's gone crazy. He said that people should do martial arts and do some sparring. Yes. You get what I mean, bro. These people who make these kinds of videos, why do you think they make them? Do you think they make them thinking, oh yeah, you know what? This video is really gonna help the people. It's really gonna help young men. Or do you think they make it thinking, okay, let's see as many like fake points as we can about this guy, because then we'll get some views, and then we'll make another hate video about someone else the next day, and then someone else the next day, and maybe we'll get enough views to be able to pay our rent. These people who make this kind of content, bro, they only make it to just trigger you, to rage bait. They only make it to just get some views and make some money. And the thing is, I can't even blame them, because look, this is how he puts bread on the table for his family. I don't think that's a good way to make money, because my sort of philosophy with making money is, I think you can make money from doing basically anything. So you may as well make money from doing something that's actually positive for humanity. This guy, I really think his contribution, like if you take one look at his channel, his contribution to humanity is actually like a negative. He's just making like negative content that's putting people into like a low vibrational frequency. And he's trying to discourage people from getting onto self-improvement. Like, think about it. This clip that he's hating on right now is me saying to young men to get into martial arts and do some sparring, because when you spar and you get hit, it will like shock you into presence, almost like meditation. Any guy who goes to the martial arts club, and in fact, just guys who don't even go, but they just respect martial arts, would all agree and be like, yeah, like completely makes sense. That's a really good idea. Martial arts, yeah, I've been meaning to join. I really want to join soon. Guys like this, like he's looking for anything he can try and shit on. Like, what a weird example for him to try and say like, oh yeah, like Hamza's advice has got so black and white. He said that martial arts is good and that you should go get hit in the face. Like, you can tell, bro, this guy doesn't even understand self-improvement, the life of young men at all.
By the 1st of February 2023, Hamza would make yet another radical shift in his career with a video titled, I Fulfilled My Purpose.
You know, I've been on this journey for over 2 years, dedicating myself fully to this. Every single day I've woke up and thought about spreading this message of self-improvement. This has been my purpose for over 2 years. And a little while ago, I completed this layer of my purpose and I'm on to the next layer.
Hamza went on to announce that he'd no longer be putting out frequent uploads and stated that he'd be dissolving his production team as a result.
I've made the hard decision now, after weighing this up so many times, after speaking to my close friend who helps me make these decisions, Sam. I've made the hard decision now to stop this content production machine that we had here, this huge team that we had of 7 video editors and TikTok guys and sales guys and Twitter guys, and I let every single one go, including Sam, Harbonator, my best friend who's worked for me for over 2 years.
According to Hamza, the drastic change to the channel was a byproduct of outgrowing the influencer lifestyle and in pursuit of his personal development.
My new layer of my purpose for me to focus on is my own development as a man. I no longer care about being a YouTuber or an influencer or a celebrity or a man with fame or anything like this.
Surprisingly, Hamza would set his sights on a far more arduous path of becoming a fighter.
And the angle that it's currently fixated on, my mind, my heart, and my soul, is fighting, competition, martial arts.
From the outside looking in, it seemed Hamza had gotten over his egotistical side and was trying to realign his life with a higher purpose.
So in the end of 2022, I hit, I think like 1.5 million subscribers. I had posted daily videos for almost 2 years straight. And I was getting recognized. So I was living in Dubai and I was getting recognized on the street every single day. Like honestly, minimum like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. There was one time I remember I finished the workout and one by one, everyone who walked into the gym was a fan of mine. Like I was like famous, right? Especially here as well. I would do like a meetup. I would post on my Instagram story like, oh, I'm going to be in this park. Come meet me. 50, 100 guys would come. And I was so well known. And guess what? I was lonely and I was poor at the same time. I put my heart and soul into making those videos that people said was so helpful, you know, like the Jeffrey Adonis, the editing, everything, and posting them daily. And I was spending so much money to make those videos because they were very expensive to make. You know, they had like custom animations, cartoons and stuff. They would take an editor 1 week to make. So I had 7, even 8 editors making them in like a fucking machine, right? So every day, imagine this. Every day, about $1,000 was leaving my bank account, but only about 700 was coming back in. Can you imagine the stress that would put you in? Like this was just like, I wasn't a businessman, right? I didn't really know like how to like make money, whatever. So when I started to get like burnt out. I had terrible health. I had a surgery that went wrong and I was like in the ICU. I almost died in this surgery because I was like so stressed and my life was terrible. This was the worst health I had ever had in my life. I track everything with like this ring, right? That shows you like your health stats. And everything was in the red for like I was waking up 20, 30 times a night. I swear to God, I didn't know this at the time. This was burnout. I had the false psychology, which a lot of people do when they're in this stage, to think that it was going to be like this forever. What I needed to do was take a few weeks break and kind of like start things slow again, regulate, maybe go back to somewhere that I felt like safe and, you know, where I was used to, like my home in UK, and, you know, figure out the finances and whatever. But it just, honestly, it never popped into my mind to think like you can take a break, because I had posted daily for so long that my construct of like YouTube and these videos was that you post daily and that people were kind of relying on you, and the stress got so high. I had to literally, like, I got into debt. I had to borrow money. Imagine that. I was like famous. I was getting recognized. People are coming up, wow, are you Hamza? And I had to borrow money because I was going into the minus. And I thought about how silly this was, where I was working so hard and I was losing money because I just didn't really know like how to do the business side. So this is when I thought, wait, you know what? When I upload a video with no editing, it still gets hundreds of thousands of views, and people actually comment, say, whoa, like I actually like these videos where there's no editing and you just talk and you just teach. And so I was in this like confusing moments where I'm spending so much money on these really edited, beautiful videos, but every now and then when I'd record a video with no editing, people would say, wait, like I actually really like it with no editing. And I'm like, wait, but that's like, I'd save so much money if I did it like this. And I'm also so stressed and I'm getting recognized. I was having relationship problems because of a part of the stress and, you know, relationship issues and whatever. Then with my friend, that things were going so crazy. And I ended up, bro, I just burnt out like so crazy that I felt like I needed to quit, when really I just needed a few weeks off. It just never occurred to me to take a few weeks off. Honestly, I just never really thought about it. I needed a few weeks off, and I ended up making like a pretty embarrassing public video saying, okay, I'm quitting YouTube. I took a few weeks off, and then the desire came back to share the lessons that I was having, to make videos again. It completely came back. And then when all the stress was gone, when I let the team go and I only had like my sister who was like my assistant, then it was like, bro, it felt so easy to make these videos that I wanted to make some more, and I had so many ideas to share. So I look back at that time and I don't even hate myself for it, because, bro, I was a young guy who randomly got famous when I was like 25 years old. Can you imagine being 25 years old and you have millions of followers? It sounds like what you want, right? But can you imagine millions of people like looking at your movement, and you're in debt, you're losing money every day? It was hard to deal with. I was still a very young man at this point, right? And business was something that I wasn't really good at. So now what he's talking about here is I took the break, started posting videos again because I really felt called to do so. And then I made the business side of things. Finally, I started started to sell something because I had been growing so well on social media, but I just wasn't making money from it. And so now I actually made a product, which I'm so proud of. I remember I launched this product and I ended up making $75,000 in one day. So imagine a month or two before I made this product, I literally had to message my sister and get her to send me money. I was in debt to my sister, even though I was like famous. I launched this product and I just like, say to my audience, hey, like if you want to basically join this thing, I basically don't really sell anything, but if you want to join this thing, I'll like teach you things basically. And hundreds of guys joined, $75,000 a day. And this was when I started to level up that sort of business side. So now I had both. I had like the sort of YouTube side, but now finally like the business side as well. That's why I've started, and it's something that I'm like selling. So it's like, if you don't want to spend money, you can click away. No, absolutely no problem. My videos are still free. The Discord server is still there. And I never pushed it that hard. As you can see in this video, I literally said to people like, oh yeah, like my videos are free. Don't worry about it. Like if you can't join, if you can't afford it, don't worry. I'm still going to make these videos for free. But this is for the guys who can afford it and they want to sort of, they want to like help me and they want to join and they want to learn more things from me. Go ahead. So it was a very like low pressure sale.
Even though a majority of fans were thrilled to be a part of Hamza's new direction for the channel, there were also those who were still curious about what happened to his fighter career. By the 1st of June 2023, Hamza would publish a video explaining why becoming a fighter was no longer his purpose, and the reason he was more focused on making more money.
So a few months ago, I posted a video saying that I had fulfilled my purpose and that I was going to go into the mountains to go train martial arts. And I still receive comments of why I didn't do that. Oh, Hamza, I thought you were going to become a fighter. Now, I explained in a video already, but I put it in like, it was like 2 hours into the video. So basically in that video where I said I was going to quit, I said, okay, like I'm going to quit YouTube. And the thing that I'm getting into now is like martial arts. And I said, okay, like, I want to do a fight as well. I ended up actually moving into a martial arts camp. Like I moved inside the gym, like literally inside the gym was where I was going to sleep. And I was there for only one day. And people always speculated what happened. Did I get like my ass beat or something? No, like there was no sparring that day. I literally just like trained. I did 4 classes that day. I actually made a good few friends as well. Like I remember we ended the day giving each other WhatsApps and stuff. So I had a pretty good day, but I came back into the little bedroom and I just felt like something was so wrong. And I swear to God, the last class I still remember finished at 7 p.m. And I stayed up till about 10, journaling, saying like, this was the plan. Like what, like something's wrong. What is it? And that's when I thought, this is nice. I actually really enjoy like the athlete lifestyle. But the thing you've got to be working on is money. Bro, you've made all these videos. You've helped so many people. You need to help yourself as well. You need to like learn how to make a product that people want to buy. You've got to level up the money side. I said like this martial arts stuff, it's nice. It's like, it's awesome to have like a sport and stuff. But it's like your career needs to come first. And I think a lot of young guys, bro, you'd agree with me, right? Your career is so important. And if that doesn't feel aligned, if right now you're trying to figure out like what work to do, it like kind of encapsulates your entire mind, right? Your entire mind is just like you're eating your food whilst thinking like, oh, what do I do with my life? What work do I do? How do I make money? It just takes your entire life. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. No one should judge me thinking, oh, well, you just want to make money. Bro, all of us want to make money. When your work, your money, your finances are not in order, bro, it saps your mind, right? So I went there for one day and imagine how like hard this decision was. I moved in there for like a 2-month sort of package. I announced it to the internet and I thought, wait, I might actually leave because this is not actually the priority. I've got to just level up my finances, my career. That's unstable right now. It's just in the air. And I thought, wait, this is going to be so embarrassing. I just moved in. They showed me the bedroom and everything. I've just made friends. Are you going to leave tomorrow? Like it's crazy. You're going to leave. You're going to come back to YouTube and tell people, oh yeah, I'm not going all into martial arts like I said. And I was like, yeah, but like, look, that's the real thing you've got to do. So I like imagine the confidence that to publicly sort of say like, oh yeah, I was wrong. And like, I thought that's what I wanted and needed at this time. And it was when like, I was consistently posting to YouTube. But the moment I stopped posting to YouTube and my career was like in the air, that's when I thought like, wait, I've got to fix that first. I've got to go back home, get grounded and just kind of like continue that. That's when I moved back home and I kept on training. I moved back home. I signed up to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu gym there and I started to train that and I was training outside. So I was still training. Of course, I've never stopped training, but I just started to prioritize my career first, which I have absolutely no regret for. Your family's waiting for you, right? My family's waiting for me. Our families are waiting for us to become successful so that you can retire your father. At this point, by the way, my family were all still working jobs. I think just my sister wasn't because she was my assistant, but everyone, my brother was, my dad was, and they were working jobs they didn't like. So here I am like across the world, learning martial arts, but like my family still needed me. I needed to make more money and there's nothing wrong with that. I have zero guilt, zero remorse for doing this. It was absolutely the right decision. So I moved back home. I continued training, but I prioritized my career first, which I have zero regret for whatsoever. When I said, oh, I'm gonna go and train martial arts, people hyped it up like crazy. It was, imagine how hype that was, right? It was so hype when people, even when I did the fight recently, and it was so hype. I knew I'd get more validation if I did this fight. If anything, this proves a lower ego, lower sort of seeking of approval and validation, because I got so much validation when I just did my fight, and people, bro, like 30, 40 of my followers flew out to Bali to watch me fucking head kick this guy and knock him out. I got so much validation for that. I knew I'd get so much validation when I said, oh, I'm gonna go and learn how to fight. I knew, like, it was crazy. That video, imagine a video where I literally just sat there and said, oh, I'm gonna go learn how to fight. It got 1 million views, no editing, no nothing. It got 1 million views. I knew if I stayed on that path, I knew for a fact I would have been like a cooler influencer. But it was inauthentic because I needed to learn the business side of things first. I needed to fix my career first. And I have, again, it's like no remorse for that.
At the end of the day, Hamza was free to take his channel in any direction he saw fit. However, this change in mentality would mark the beginning of a very turbulent time in Hamza's community, as the focus shifted away from what was best for men, more towards what Hamza thought was best.
Again, what's the point he just made? The focus changed from what was best for men to what Hamza thought was best. What's the point he's trying to make? Oh, Hamza, his work changed to his opinions. No, that's how my work has always been. What other thing could I ever teach you other than what I thought was best for you? Just see how, like, that's like the two sentences. It sounds like, Hamza's doing something wrong. When what he's actually just said is like, oh, Hamza talks about his opinions. Well, yes, of course I do. What else am I gonna talk about?
3. Hamza would announce a new chapter in his life of starting a family.
Moved into the rural mountains of Scotland with my woman, and soon we're gonna buy a home and we're gonna have children. I'm gonna move up my family here. I'm gonna move up like families that I love, and I'm gonna create this dream into a reality. But basically, I'm starting the fatherhood chapter of my life.
Hamza was so convicted that this was the right decision to take things that he would change his channel description to reflect it, with the description reading, preparing to be a father. Unfortunately, similar to his previous life-altering plans, Hamza wouldn't follow through with it, and decided to go for the easier option. In a now-deleted video, Hamza would describe how a date with a Russian woman changed his perspective on Western women.
That video I made where I said, okay, I'm gonna be a father, I still am on the same path. I'm still preparing to be a father, as many young men are. I just realized that the woman I was with was not going to be my wife. Simple as that. He's worded it as like, whoa, as many things Hamza didn't follow through. If you realize the girl you're with is not going to be your wife, should you still follow through with it? No, of course not. Something happened after that video, which proved to me that she wasn't going to be my wife. Simple as that. So I basically ended the relationship. Zero remorse. I don't owe anyone anything. If I've told you like, oh, this is my plan, this is my girl, think, we're going to go have a family. But then if something happens, if she does some bullshit after that, bro, I don't owe you anything to like follow through with that, right? You better respect me more for this, not less. You better be thinking, well, yeah, of course. Just because I've made like a video saying like, oh yeah, no, this is where like life update, this is where I'm up to. If something happens after that where the girl I'm with, she did something to prove to me she wasn't my wife, then I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna still follow through with it because I said it on YouTube. I'm gonna be thinking, oh no, like at one point I thought I would have children with her and the real relationship with her, and I just didn't, and that was it. And we split up in January, but then I didn't announce it on YouTube, right? This is how you know, bro, I'm not like one of these view chasing guys. Imagine that we split up in January. You knew that I was gonna get views if I talk about like a breakup or something. I didn't even make a video about it. I just like lived my life, didn't even speak about it. And then months later, I kind of like just got kind of used to, being single again. I went on a date with a girl and I was able to appreciate like another culture. So I ended up speaking about it, but I hadn't actually announced the breakup that happened months ago on YouTube. So people were quite shocked when I spoke about, oh, I went on a date with a girl and I was able to respect her culture like she comes from a different country. And people were like, wait, what, weren't you in a relationship already? What happened? So that's when I realized, oh yeah, shit, like I never even announced to the boys that I'm not in the same relationship as I was 3 months ago.
Like beautiful, but also very, very intelligent based, sophisticated, classy young woman. Like, very impressive. That's what I'll say. It's very, very impressive.
Naturally, Hamza's viewers wondered why he was going on another path when he just announced the fatherhood chapter of his life, and it wouldn't be long before they got an answer.
I made a video saying lessons from my breakup. So this was like a day after I made that video about like, oh, I went on a date, and people are like, wait, what? Weren't you in a relationship? And someone wrote a comment saying like, oh, Hamza, you should make a video about like why you split up and the lessons that you learned from it. And I wasn't going to make a video about it, but when he said that, like, I'll teach the lessons, I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty good idea. So I thought of some lessons I wanted to teach, and I pressed record really quickly. I didn't prepare for this. I really should have. I didn't realize like how like scrutinizing the internet would be. So I just gave like a very fluffy reason to why we broke up. I just said like, oh yeah, we wanted to live in like 2 separate places. That was kind of true, but obviously that wasn't a very big deal. I said that I wanted to go live into like a city. She wanted to like live in somewhere more rural. We spoke about it more. It's like both of us, it's not that big of a deal. Like we lived in both places together, like city and in like rural farmlands and whatever. The reason why we actually split up was not that at all. I just didn't want to like sort of, like tarnish her name on the internet. I'm not going to press record and say, oh yeah, she did this thing in specific. She did this, she did this. The thing is, like, when I look at it now, maybe I sound like an asshole, but I think I should have. Because when I didn't tell the truth that she did something really bad, and I just said something small, like, oh yeah, we just decided we wanted to live in different cities and stuff, so we split up. A lot of people saw that as like a shitty reason to break up. So then when it's only like a while afterwards, I saw that I got such a hit to my brand, to my YouTube channel, that I wish now, if I'm honest, even though it probably would have kind of like maybe tarnished her name in some ways, I wish I was a bit more honest, and I maybe I shouldn't, I'm not going to say like what happened, but I should have said something more like I just said in this video, like, oh yeah, like she kind of did something that proved to me that she's not my wife. Because a lot of guys would nod their head and be like, oh, okay, fair enough. I completely like, I don't know what she did, fair enough, but I know what you mean, and I completely like support you. I should have just said somewhat of the truth.
And his other opinions on men dedicating themselves to improving their minds and body gave way to telling men to make as much money as possible.
Again, bro, do you see how like he's just twisting words? He's saying like the point he's trying to make here is, here I started to say that you shouldn't improve your mind and body and you should only make money. I've never said that. I have never once told you like, oh yeah, don't worry about your mind, don't worry about your mental health, don't worry about your body, just make money. I have never said that. Just see how they're trying to twist words, or he's trying to sell this story, whatever, but yeah.
For his monthly membership. Speaking of which, by early 2024, one of Hamza's former students would come out with less than positive opinions about their time in his paid community. On the 5th of January, a user by the name of Dante would upload a video detailing the more darker aspects to Hamza's Adonis school.
One morning, Hamza posted something that would cause mass panic among the members.
So now he's telling the story of this 14-year-old kid who made a video about me saying that I stole $400 from him. I want you to just take a second here. Think about this. Someone made a video about me saying that I stole $400 from them. Do you think that that is true? Or do you think that that person maybe made the video to get some views? Which one? Come on. That video on that channel is actually deleted now. Very interesting. You know why? Because he made the video. I didn't respond. I never respond to like hate or anything like this, right? I didn't respond, but the kid basically said, oh yeah, Hamza, he stole my money. He didn't refund me, whatever. It's all lies. Like we got all the email proof to show that he was lying with everything. We gave him like either it was like a refund or a cancellation. This kid was like, oh yeah, Hamza stole my money. I said that I wanted to cancel his program, but he wouldn't let me cancel. He kept my money for another 4 months. We showed email proof that we canceled his subscription on the same day that he requested it. So my customer service team were very good, right? So the kid was just lying because he wanted to get views. And I swear to God, I didn't react to his video. I didn't want to give him any attention. Then, you know what made me finally respond to this kid? He started to go on podcasts where he was sat there like this, where other kids were interviewing him saying like, oh, how did you get 100,000 views on that video? And he was like, yeah, so you know what? I thought about like a piece of like rage bait content that I could make. And I knew that if I spoke about like Hamza in like a really like false way, yeah, I made it up, yeah.
It's kind of my strategy with YouTube. It was just find the best possible idea, use Google Trends, research what's doing well on YouTube, find the timeline, try and look for any controversial things going on in my niche, like self-improvement. That's what worked best for me. That's what got me monetized.
He basically admitted to making up the video, like making up the sort of lies. He made it like this hit piece, whatever. I saw that, and that was the time where I thought, you know what? I wasn't going to react because I don't want to get into like this internet thing with some fucking child. But this is just disrespectful. So I made a video where I was polite, but I was like, oh, hey guys, this kid has been saying that I stole money from him. Here's the emails. You can see that he's lying. He can see that he's lying. I can't believe people believe this. Bro, I'm already a millionaire. If you think that I stole $400 from a child, come on. That's just, it's absurd to even try and like believe that, right? I made a video and then this kid deleted his entire channel. He deleted the video, his entire channel, and boom, gone. So what does that tell you? Well, he was lying to get views. Now this guy in this video that we're reacting to, he's made this a big part of the hit piece of like, oh yeah, Hamza stole money. This guy's like believed this fucking kid.
So I can't comment too much on it because I'm not a member of his page community. I just want to put that out there.
Now they're shitting on the program. And you know what's interesting? The kid over there, Dante, he was in the program, and guess what? He's 14 years old. And guess what? We've got posts of him inside the community saying, wow, this place is amazing. And then he posts that he got his first ever sale online because of my help. He joined my program where I teach people like, an assortment of stuff, masculinity, fitness, whatever. But one of the things I teach is like how to make money online. A 14-year-old child joins and he was like, oh, I just got my first sale following Hamza's program. Whoa, imagine that. And then now because he wants to get some views and he's going on all these podcasts talking about, oh yeah, I get views, like shitting on Hamza's videos. He then says, oh yeah, the video, like, the program isn't so good. People are allowed their opinions, by the way, but what they're saying is a complete lie. He literally got like the win that he wanted. It was like a win. And not only this, by the way, this kid burnt me. You know why? He posted that his mother had passed away, right? And he was like still grieving. I wrote him a letter and I took my I was wearing like this necklace that symbolizes like masculinity. And then I posted it, I swear to God, to America, to his house. I wrote him a handwritten letter thanking him for being part of the community. I wanted him to feel like he belonged here. Imagine I did that. Could you imagine if I wrote you a handwritten letter and I sent it to your house with my necklace that I used to wear saying like, oh bro, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. Could you imagine how how fucking like grateful you'd be, and you'd be thinking, fuck me, Hamza's like such a good guy. I did that and then this kid started to hate on me online. I'm not gonna lie, like I wish this wasn't true, but I lost a lot of trust in people because of this kid, because I was nice to this kid. I was nice. And he stabbed me in the back. Can you imagine that? Like imagine how happy you'd be thinking like, what the fuck? Like Hamza's like such a nice guy. He's like a big influencer, but he wrote me a letter and he sent it to me and he gave me his necklace and he was telling me like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. Your mother passed away. I'm so sorry to hear that. You're welcome here. You belong here. I did that for this kid and he just shit on it. He just took it for granted and he goes on these little podcasts talking about like shit about me.
To show just how manipulative Hamza was when confronted with his own failing, Dante shared a comment he left under one of his videos.
This is, and I quote, "This is really sad, Dante. You were a great student. I helped you one-on-one with your mom's passing. I agreed to go on a call with your father. You seemed to fit in and love Adana School so much. He made multiple testimonial videos saying it was great." That's exactly what he said. And the really disturbing one is, I helped you one-on-one with your mother's passing, which is absolutely not true.
All of that is true. We've got proof. I'll even actually there's a video on my channel if you want to know specifically about this kid. And it's for, bro, this is why I fucking hate the internet. I'm like arguing about like some fucking kid that wanted to make some views, whatever. The same as this guy who's made this video. These people, bro, they need to meditate so much. These people, they've got such bad mental health that they wake up thinking like, oh, who can I talk shit about on the internet and maybe I'll get some views. Bro, you can get some views if you help people as well. Like, what a sad world we live in where people literally like this guy whose video we're watching today. Again, look at his channel for a second. Let me show you like a little screen recording of his channel. His entire channel is just videos like this. Can you imagine how bad his mental health is? I wish we could save this guy, bro. He needs to watch my videos. He needs to really like sit down, meditate and be calm. But you know what he's gonna do? He's just gonna like, when my videos start getting views again, he'll make another video like this. Oh yeah, Hamza, or whatever. These people are so messed up in the head, honestly. Imagine how ungrateful someone would have to be and how bad someone's mental health is to make content like this when I wrote him a handwritten letter. Like, how gay is that, bro? I literally wrote a fucking letter to this kid because he posted in my community saying that like, oh, he was still grieving because his mother had passed. And then he goes on to make a fucking hate video, and this guy in this video we're reviewing today, he brings it up like, oh yeah, but this kid, he said this. Like, he's bringing up something that's been proven to be false, and people are still trying to bring up like, oh yeah, this kid said this. I'm telling you right now, all the hate videos you see about me, oh, Hamza this, Hamza that, whatever. It's all the same bullshit, bro. It's all like this, where it's people who aren't really even dedicated to self-improvement, and they're just wasting your time saying garbage, but they edit it in this way where it sounds like so right, and it sounds like I'm such an evil person. I was sat downstairs with this new friend that I've made in the last few months, and he was like, I wish people could see the real you. And I got a little bit offended. I was like, wait, do you mean like I'm not like who I am on YouTube? And he went, no, like you're so much more like kind and generous than people actually know. Like in your videos, he said like, you've got to be a bit like loud and tell these guys like, come on, go to the gym, don't be a pussy. But like a lot of the followers, he said, of mine, they don't know like how like sweet I actually am. A lot of guys who have met me in person, or a lot of guys who've interacted with me, if they leave a comment, you'll see like some guys have got such positive things to say about me. And also even just the guys who watch my YouTube videos, they say such positive things about me that you almost never see on any other YouTube channel like in history. Every other YouTube channel is like, oh yeah, nice video, haha, this was a funny video. In my videos, you get guys who are literally saying things like, I would have killed myself if I didn't watch Hamza's videos. I would have been like a complete addict if I never watched Hamza. He's like the father figure I never had. He's like the big brother that I never had. I wouldn't be a man if it wasn't for Hamza. I would have ended my life if it wasn't for Hamza. And this is just guys who watch my YouTube videos, guys who have met me in person, guys who I've really interacted with. When they say things, like I'm like taken aback of like how powerful the work that I've done is. And I'm always shocked when I see people try and shit on it. You know, if someone is like saying, oh, you know what, I think Hamza's wrong about his bodybuilding advice. I get that because, okay, we're allowed to disagree with each other. But when it's more of like a hit piece like this and they're trying to actually attack me, not my advice, but like me as a human being, can you imagine how painful that is? Because bro, I'm like an actual like sensitive little sweetheart. Can you imagine how hard this is being the guy who's been like raw and genuine, really just to try and help people, and then people just try and like slander your name? You know, if this was someone disagreeing with my advice and they were saying like, no, you know, this other diet's better, or this form of meditation's better or something, I 100% I'd respect that. But this was people actually really trying to just bully me. Like how awful is that? When I'm the guy who's coming onto the camera just to try and help you to get on self-improvement, this was never about my advice. This was them just attacking me as like a human being, which hurts so much. So he brings up a part for quite a long time saying, okay, Hamza scammed this kid. And when I've shown evidence that it wasn't a scam and that the kid was just like, you know, being a bad person, look how quickly he just quickly moves on from this point.
To make matters worse, he also displayed evidence of Dante bragging about the video's performance, which made the entire situation appear as though Dante used and enjoyed Hamza's service.
Appear as though, but in fact, he actually did.
And then turned on him when he could gain some clout or make a profit. But despite this, Hamza still received a lot of criticism.
Despite this, Hamza still received a lot of criticism. Like, where? He doesn't prove it. Like, actually, when I made this video to prove the kid was lying and that, you know, I was like, it was all bullshit basically, I didn't receive the criticism. In fact, everyone came up and said like, oh yeah, I never believed him in the first place. Actually, I can't believe people believed like some random kid and he said like, oh yeah, Hamza stole money from him or something. So just see, again, it's like he puts one sentence there whenever I've defended myself properly with facts, and then he's like, oh, Hamza still received a lot of criticism. Why do you think he's put that right here? He's put it because he knows that his viewers will think, oh yeah, so Hamza's still a bad person, we all still hate Hamza. No. Just see how like easy it is to sort of manipulate like this guy, like this fucking guy. Like he just manipulates his own audience. I basically recovered myself from that sort of you know, the kid lying about me. But then he just randomly puts it with no evidence. Like he moves on past this point, but he's just like, Hamza still received a lot of criticism because he knows his audience will think, oh, okay, so we still hate Hamza. Okay.
Hamza's inability to notice his own faults and biases.
My inability to notice my own faults and biases. If you watched a few of my videos, do you think I have an inability to notice my own faults and biases? I would say I'm way more self-aware than like average. He says it like it's just a fact, Hamza's inability to notice his own faults and biases, but it's not true. I notice my own faults and biases very well. I know like all the criticisms people have of me because I knew them in myself even earlier than someone had ever said them to me before.
When Hamza initially started the Adonis movement, he based it on 5 simple values: discipline, humility, presence, gratitude, and leadership. Sadly, Hamza failed to live up to 3 of these values multiple times in his career. Hamza frequently presents his opinions as bold facts that his impressionable audience should emulate.
I wouldn't say I failed to live up to them. I've just always got progress to make. No one could find a single time where I've said I'm perfect and I have nothing to improve on. Every single video I make is literally me saying, oh, here's the mistake I made. I can also talk about my positive things, just like I talk shit about myself. I tell stories about how I've messed up. I also can talk about my positive things. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's actually very healthy to be able to see the things that you've done well in. But I have never told you that I'm perfect and I don't need to change. I've never told you that. I've always told you I'm on self-improvement as well. Of course, I'm going to make mistakes the same way that you do, of course. Remember that analogy, like we're all trekking through the jungle and I'm the one at the front and I'm tripping over the rock and I'm getting bit by the snake. Of course, I'm the one at the front. I'm like, there's no Hamza for me. I have to figure this shit out and then I pass the lessons on to you. Naturally, I'm going to make the mistakes, right? Of course. Think about how many mistakes you make, even though I've told you exactly what works. Like think about how easy it is for you compared to me when I don't have a Hamza. There's no one I've found who's like actually giving good self-improvement advice. You've got me, right? So you're already learning from me and you're still making a ton of mistakes. So can you imagine how many mistakes I have to make when I don't even have anyone to watch to who's, you know, passing these lessons on to me, right? So I wouldn't say I haven't lived up to discipline, humility, leadership, because I think I actually have. There's just always more progress. Like if I lived up to it to that 100th degree, then there would be no more progress to make. But I don't think I'd ever be absolutely perfect in discipline, humility, leadership, or even anything for the rest of my life. Like I still have another fucking 60, 80 years to keep making progress. I've never once told you that I'm at like the ultimate point where I don't need any more like progress. Of course not.
Hamza frequently presents his opinions as bold fact that his impressionable audience should emulate, when even he couldn't meet the standards he set.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a very valid criticism. I tell you the advice with conviction, because I know for a fact if I tell younger me, oh hey, you know, you can try going to the gym, you can meditate and it may help you. If I said this to younger me, he'd look at me like a fucking like little idiot and he wouldn't follow me. If I tell younger me meditation will change your life, you've got to meditate, then he'll listen to me. So this is a trade-off I've had to just accept. I have to speak with conviction, because I know if I don't speak with conviction, younger me when I was 21 years old, he just wouldn't listen. So some people think that I'm like some really arrogant guy, when actually like maybe I probably have like some healthy levels of arrogance, which a lot of young men do, which is absolutely fine. But I'm not as crazy as like this person thinks. You have to speak with conviction, right? Imagine I'm like a drill sergeant in the army. If I tell you like, right, meet me here sometime between like 5 and 6 if you want to. Can you imagine how little respect you'd have for me compared to if I said, right, meet me here at 5. Get your shoes shined just like this. If I said, you can shine your shoes whatever way you want, this is the way that I do it. If you were like, bro, imagine a drill sergeant looking at you like in the military and speaking like that. You just wouldn't listen to them, right? Young men, they don't need like a soft guy speaking to them. You've had this in all your schools, all your teachers have been like this soft, oh, it may help you. Eating vegetables may help. You've had all this in your life. You don't need that. You need like military discipline now. You need someone to tell you, do this exactly like this. When you have to think and make up your own kind of ideas right now, that actually deserves you, because like your life when you're a young guy is so overwhelming. You're trying to figure out what to do with your career. You're trying to figure out which kind of workout routine to go into. You're trying to figure out which girl is high quality. You're trying to figure out how to navigate your dating life. Should you have sex with a lot of girls, or should you maybe stay like a bit more pure? Like you don't know. There's so many things. So you need someone to just tell you a hard fucking protocol. Wake up at 5 a.m. Start with meditation, gratitude. If I said, oh, do what feels right to you, that everyone's told you that kind of advice and it doesn't fucking work. Young men need more of a drill sergeant with conviction. When you get to a higher level, that's when I'll speak to you with more nuance and I'll ask you more questions and I'll say, okay, are you sure? How does this feel? Like I have an advanced channel where I speak with way more nuance, and I assume the guy is a higher level who already knows what he likes, what he doesn't like. So on that channel, I speak with way less conviction, because when you're a higher level guy, you know what things are good for you and bad for you, and there's way more nuance. But when you're a lower level guy, no offense, bro, but when you're like 20 years old or younger and you're just like a bit of a fucking instant gratifications Jeffrey and you're just doing bad habits, you don't need like, oh, quitting porn may help you. No, fuck that. You need to be told porn is from the fucking devil. It's like porn is demonic and quitting it will help you in life. You need complete conviction, because if you don't have that, if I wasn't completely convicted when I tell you to quit porn and video games and to start meditating and go into the gym, younger me wouldn't listen. I make these videos for younger me, 21-year-old me, and he needs that drill sergeant version of me. Sometimes I will show you that I'm still like a wholesome, sweet guy, fine. But mostly you need a bit of that military discipline when you're a young guy, right? You need that David Goggins kind of mindset. This like soft, high-pitched kind of like little guy who's telling you like, oh yeah, everything in moderation. Shut up, bro. We don't need that when we're young. We need military discipline. Anyone who understands young men knows what they need. They don't, like, you've already had all these soft little teachers, soft parents, all the soft world telling you, and it hasn't served you one bit. You need someone to tell you, quit playing fucking video games and go get a fucking job. Quit like wasting your fucking time, spraying your seed everywhere. Porn is bad for you. You need absolutes. You need black and white. If you're at a higher level, you're more like 25 years old, you're getting successful, that's when we can speak more nuance on my advanced channel. But on this channel, I make it for the 21-year-old me, and I know exactly what he needed.
However, it seems Hamza wasn't too far gone to notice his mistakes. In one of his recent videos titled, I Fell Off Self-Improvement, Hamza would acknowledge some of his faults and attempt to own up to them.
Because I'd seen it with, Conor McGregor and athletes and everything. They always kind of like discipline themselves in the early days, then they build success, and then they just kind of like lose it all because of random mistakes that they made. And I always used to see that and be like, oh yeah, not me, bro, not me. And then I just find myself in this situation, because when you do reach success, it's like, it's so easy for everyone who hypes you up for it to get to your head.
Hamza would even try to see things from the perspective of his viewers, and took note of how difficult it would be to watch their favorite creator make easily avoidable mistakes.
And I must say, from your perspective, it must have been annoying as fuck and like cringe. They're so fucking cringe to see me make decisions that I didn't even stick to, where I'd randomly flip-flop and change my mind.
Yeah, I know one of my worst traits is I change my mind a lot. In some ways, I've kind of explained that in a recent video that you can go watch if you haven't already. A part of it is just my sort of brain is like that as well. My brain is very like hyper-focused, distracted focus, ADHD style. A lot of like successful guys, like entrepreneurs, they have the same kind of brain, where your brain will flip-flop a lot. And in the end, you end up getting some form of balance, but in the short term, you're quite extreme on this idea, then extreme on this idea, then on this one, and you completely slack on the previous idea. Life is kind of like that when you have like the sort of entrepreneurial brain. And I know it's like a weakness of mine, and I'm trying to sort of like regulate more. I know it might be like ADHD, honestly. It might be like a medical condition. So I'm trying to improve on that. That's like one aspect of my own self-improvement journey.
Even after his ego-driven actions had tarnished his reputation, chased away a significant portion of the Adonis School members, and caused his viewership to stagnate, Hamza was still being disingenuous with his community. Whether or not this behavior will continue,
Hamza's still being disingenuous with the community. He's making a blanket statement. Where's the evidence? There is none.
it's completely up to Hamza. Will he truly put his ego aside and become an Adonis, or will he hold on to it and remain a Jeffrey?
2 million views, wow. Top comment, when he quit YouTube to start kickboxing full-time, then quit that a week later, returning to YouTube was hilarious. Edit, he just won his first kickboxing fight. Good for him for trying again and doing it for himself this time. This is the thing with these people who make like this sort of internet hit piece, hate videos. They do it just for views, bro. They do it just because it's a business for them. Like I said, like I can't blame someone because it's a business and he wants to kind of like provide for his family. But I really think like once you mature and like your prefrontal cortex develops, you realize, bro, you can make videos being like a hater on the internet, but you can also make videos being like a sweet person and helping people as well. And so you may as well just choose the one which like promotes you to have a better life. You know what? One thing I've realized is a lot of these guys who make like these sort of videos, a lot of them are really broke as well. Like a lot of them, like their business isn't even good. They're just making these videos for views. But of course, they don't really have like true fans. Like no one's going to be a big fan of this guy and buy from him or anything. So they just churn out so much. Like one more time, look at his fucking channel. They just churn out so much of the same kind of content. It's all like ChatGPT script, AI voice or some shit. It's just fucking embarrassing, bro. You've just got to be careful to not stumble into this. As I always say, listen, I've always told you, I'm not perfect. I've always said this to you. You've always known. Every video I literally talk about my mistakes. You know I'm not perfect. I've never told you that I'm perfect. In fact, I've always told you that I make loads of mistakes. I've never even hidden them. The difference is though, when you watch my videos, your life improves. You just know this. If you've watched this far of this video, you know for a fact, when you watch my self-improvement videos, your life starts to go up and up and up. The thing that hurts my heart is people make videos like this because they just want to get views. The problem is they'll make a video like this. Some of the guys who are dedicated to self-improvement, who are watching me every day, they'll end up clicking on that video to think, wait, what? Is Hamza a bad person? Let's see. And some of them will get convinced by, like you've seen, like the use of editing, the manipulative words, the way that they edited it with the music and the blanket statements that they just say to make you believe that the person is like a bad person, whatever. And some people will get convinced that, oh, okay, Hamza's like a bad person. Okay, we all hate Hamza now. And then that same person falls off self-improvement, and then they come and they comment 6 months, 9 months later saying, oh, Hamza, I fell off self-improvement. I've been masturbating every day, 6 times a day again, because I watched like a video where someone said like you were a scammer and I just stopped watching you. And then when I stopped watching you, I fell off self-improvement. And I get so sad when I see that, because look, why can't we all just be like positive influences on the world? Why are some of us just so fucking negative, drawing and pulling us down? Please do not get distracted from your self-improvement journey with this type of content. Just don't. You already know the criticisms of me. You could already think of like the 3 to 5 things that I need to improve on, that, you know, like that are wrong with me. Okay, I have real, like maybe I'm quite arrogant and I'm quite sure of myself and I change my mind a lot. You already know this, right? So if you see a video about me, it's gonna say the same things, but it's gonna say it in a really like manipulative way that's gonna make you distrust self-improvement as a whole, and then you'll end up just making worse progress. Whenever you see these videos, whenever I see them, bro, I just click on the buttons and I press do not recommend channel, because I don't want to be putting this like low vibrational frequency from some dork who's not even on self-improvement telling me like, oh yeah, you know, like this guy, he's doing this, he's doing that. Like, who cares about this internet drama stuff? You know I'm not perfect. You know, in fact, that I make a lot of mistakes. Of course, I say this to you myself. It's fine. Keep watching, stay dedicated on self-improvement, and hopefully we can just save a few of the guys who watch videos like this. That's why I've like titled this video with the exact same title, thumbnail, whatever, because I'm hoping that some of the people who've watched that video and they lost respect for me and of self-improvement, they come back to this path, because I know that when people get into watching this kind of content, they just start doing all the bad habits, and it's so sad to see that. I really want you to stay dedicated to this path. And the final thing I'll ask you one more time, leave a comment below about when you discovered me, how you got onto self-improvement, how much much this path has helped you, because there'll be some guys who click on this video thinking it's like a hate video. They'll read all the comments and think, oh, what? Okay, maybe this guy is actually quite different. Maybe this guy is worth listening to. It's about time that I kind of like talk about these hit pieces that have been made about me. But I promise you right now, every single one that's come out that I've watched, they never ever even make like a single good point. They just make it kind of like dramatic and emotional. But when I actually watch it, I'm like, what's the point they're trying to make? Like, there's no real point that they're trying to make. They just like randomly make a blanket statement and then they move on without evidence. And if they show any evidence at all, it's always fucking bullshit. It's just fucking, bro, it's so fucked up, man. It's so annoying to see this, but I know it's part of the game. It's part of like the business. For some people, this is just a business. They don't care about the fact that this is gonna like actually push people off self-improvement, improving their lives. They're just churning out this kind of content just because it's their business, which is such like a shallow, embarrassing, disrespectful way to make money. But some people, like we always know, and some people have just got really bad mental health. So pray for this guy. Pray for the guy who made these videos. Pray anytime you see these guys who just make videos like this, pray for them, because they need our help more than anyone else. Like, they're in such low vibes, like negativity. They need self-improvement more than everyone else. I hope you stay dedicated to this path. You know that I've always been here to just try and help you. And it's about time I clear my name, because these guys have really tried to like attack me, to bully me, to silence me, and I still show up just making these videos for you. One final thing I would just want to ask you is send this video to anyone that you know who got pushed off this path. Anyone you know who was like a big fan of mine, but then they started to watch videos like this. Send this video to them and tell them like, I think you should really watch this. I think you're like wrong about Hamza. You're wrong about self-improvement. Let's bring those guys back into this path. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.